Imagine celebrating your 18th birthday. And instead of realizing you finally reached your adult height, you wake up just a little bit taller. At first, you don't think much of it. Maybe it's just your posture. A few months later, you've grown another centimeter, then another, then another. Years pass, but your body never gets the message to stop growing. No matter how old you become, you continue getting taller, stronger, and bigger. At first, this sounds like the ultimate advantage. Who wouldn't want to be taller? You'd dominate almost every sport. Reaching high shelves would never be a problem again. Crowds couldn't block your view. But here's the question. If growing is so beneficial, why does the human body stop in the first place? Could evolution have simply forgotten to give us unlimited growth? Or is there a very good reason nature eventually says, that's enough? Let's find out. The first thing most people imagine is becoming a giant, maybe 10 feet tall, maybe even the size of a building. Expectation says you'd become stronger with every passing year. Strength doesn't grow as fast as size. This is one of the most important rules in biology. When your body becomes twice as tall, it doesn't simply become twice as heavy. It becomes much, much heavier because weight increases faster than muscle strength. Imagine shrinking an elephant until it's the size of a dog. It would be unbelievably strong for its size. Now imagine making a dog as large as an elephant. Its legs would struggle to support its own weight. The exact same problem would happen to humans. At first, you'd feel amazing. Your longer legs would cover more ground. Everyday objects would feel lighter, but as the years passed, your body would begin losing the race against gravity. Your bones would need to support more weight every day. Joints that worked perfectly in your 20s would slowly wear out. Knees, hips, ankles, and your spine would experience enormous pressure with every movement. Expectation says becoming bigger makes life easier. Reality says gravity never becomes weaker and gravity always wins. But let's imagine evolution somehow solved that problem. Your bones grew thicker every year. Your muscles grew stronger. Your heart became more powerful. Would unlimited growth finally become the perfect superpower? Not even close. Because another problem appears: your heart. Right now, your heart only has to send blood a short distance to your brain. Now imagine you're 15 feet tall. Your heart has to push blood much farther against gravity. The taller you become, the harder your heart must work. This isn't just imagination. A giraffe's heart is incredibly powerful because it has to pump blood all the way up its long neck. In fact, its blood pressure is roughly twice as high as a healthy human's, or the animal would faint every time it lifted its head. If your body kept growing, your heart would need to become larger and far more efficient just to keep you conscious. And if it couldn't keep up, simply standing up too quickly might cause you to collapse. Your lungs would face a similar challenge. A larger body demands more oxygen, and every additional kilogram of muscle requires energy. Soon, normal breathing wouldn't be enough. Your chest would have to become wider, your lungs much larger, just to keep your body alive. Eating would change too. A larger body burns more calories. Today, an average adult might need around 2,000 calories a day. Someone twice that size, perhaps 4,000. 3 times larger, maybe 8,000 or more. Eventually, your entire routine would revolve around finding enough food. You'd always be hungry because your giant body would constantly demand fuel. Expectation says becoming gigantic makes you powerful. Reality says it also makes you incredibly expensive to keep alive. But perhaps the biggest surprise wouldn't come from your body at all. It would come from the world around you. Your favorite car, too small. Your house, too short. Your bed, too narrow. Every doorway becomes an obstacle. The world wasn't built for giants. It was built for people whose bodies eventually stopped growing. Cities would have to redesign everything. Even clothing would become temporary, since nothing would fit for very long. And despite all these problems, you're still growing every single day without stopping, which raises an even scarier question. Would your body ever know when to stop growing internally? Think about your bones. Most people assume bones are lifeless, but they're constantly changing. Growth plates decide when it's finally time to stop getting taller. Now imagine those growth plates never received that signal. Your skeleton would keep stretching year after year, and your organs would have to grow too. A larger liver, bigger kidneys, stronger muscles, an enormous heart. Expectation says your body grows together, staying perfectly balanced. Reality is that biology rarely works that neatly. If even one organ failed to keep pace, your entire body could suffer. Imagine your muscles becoming stronger while your lungs stayed nearly the same size. You'd have the strength to lift incredible weights, but you'd run out of breath after a single flight of stairs. Or imagine your bones continuing to grow while your nerves struggled to keep up. Signals traveling more slowly, your reflexes becoming slower. Your own body could begin feeling unfamiliar. Then there's your brain. People often think a bigger body means a bigger brain. Not necessarily. The human brain already consumes around 20% of your body's energy despite its small size. If your brain kept growing too, your skull would become heavier and your neck would need to support an increasingly massive head. But if your brain didn't grow, controlling an enormous body with the same sized brain would become incredibly difficult. Expectation says you'll simply become a larger version of yourself. Reality says your nervous system would constantly struggle to keep up. And here's something even stranger. Would you age normally? Most people think growth and aging are the same thing. They're not. Children grow rapidly because their cells divide fast. Adults age because cells gradually lose their ability to repair themselves. If your body never stopped growing, your cells would keep dividing for decades. That sounds wonderful until you remember that every cell division carries a chance for a mistake. Most are harmless or repaired immediately, but over billions of divisions, mistakes accumulate. That's exactly why cancer becomes more common as people age. A constantly growing body means constantly dividing cells and a dramatically increased risk of tumors. Elephants and whales have evolved extra biological defenses against cancer because their bodies contain so many more cells than ours. Without similar protections, a constantly growing human might never live long enough to become truly gigantic. But let's imagine evolution solves even that problem too. No weak bones, no failing organs, no increased cancer risk. Would life finally become perfect? Not even then. Because eventually you'd become too large for Earth itself, not planet-sized, but large enough that gravity would control every part of your daily life. Standing up would require enormous effort. Running might become impossible, since each landing would send powerful shock waves through your skeleton. Even falling over could become life-threatening because a giant body stores an incredible amount of energy. Expectation says bigger means unstoppable. Reality says bigger often means less mobile. And perhaps the saddest change wouldn't be physical, but emotional. Imagine watching your friends stop growing in their 20s, while every birthday makes you just a little taller. People would stare everywhere you go. Finding clothes, transportation, even someone your own size to simply hug would all become impossible. The very thing that once made you special could slowly make you feel isolated. You wouldn't outgrow the world would outgrow you. So why does the human body stop growing in the first place? Because evolution isn't trying to make the biggest human. It's trying to make the most efficient one. Tall enough to survive, strong enough to compete, but small enough that gravity, food, and biology remain on its side. Unlimited growth sounds like a dream until you realize your body was never designed to become infinitely large. Sometimes the greatest superpower isn't getting bigger forever. It's knowing exactly when to stop. So, if someone offered you a choice to keep growing for the rest of your life, would you accept it? Subscribe for more facts like this.